called the Washington Monument, erected in memory of the American national first American president George Washington, and it was completed in 1885, and it's an obelisk. Iconic as of today. It's probably the third highest of such kind. First one being at Houston, and it's spectacular. This place is called. This place is called a National Mall, and then you have the U.S. Capitol on that side of the mall. And this is obviously one of the most powerful places on earth, because the decisions may shape here impact and influence the whole world, not just America. So iconic Washington Memorial, and then the tickets were unfortunately not available for today, but you had a spectacular view of Washington, the DC area. It's a spectacular monument. This is Washington DC, and we see the obelisk, the Washington Monument, right in front of us. And these are the great government buildings, mostly in European style, architectural style, and neoclassical, other styles. So this is called the District of Columbia, and it's called the National Mall. I mean, the ones adjacent to this, and which extends from this Capitol Hill to the obelisk, the Washington Monument, to the Lincoln Memorial, and it's a beautiful place here. And on either side, you have this these roads. Obviously, there are many government buildings in classical European architectural style, and this is the Department of Agriculture, and the other departments. Classically, where the government bureaucracy must function, right? And so the various government departments, and then of course on the other to my right now as we walk is the White House, where the President of the United States, which is the office of and residence of the President of the United States. Current occupant is Donald J. Trump. This whole big building is the Department of Agriculture. This is the Independence Avenue. This is Federal Building. All these are like federal buildings, because DC is like the federal area. It's not a state. It's not. It's a special area, and you get this area with the federal government offices. These are all these red brick buildings, and these colonial, classical European style buildings. I love them so much. So beautiful, amazingly beautiful. We just walked towards the monument. This monument was constructed in honor and memory of George Washington, the first president of the United States, and also was a fighter before. So it's called the founding father, great founding father of the United States. This is the African museum. Yesterday I saw this museum here. It's nice. And then this. You can go to the top, but you have to, pay for the ticket. Yes, it's a small sum for the reservation fee, kind of. I'm not sure if I get the ticket. Yesterday that was available. I just forgot to really book the ticket. From here, they say you get a spectacular view of the Washington DC. It's a small kind of ticket office, I believe. This is how the Capitol Hill looks. This is the Washington Monument in Washington DC, and it's a 55 foot tall, about 169 meters approximately in height, and it's an obelisk. Obelisk is, were famous in ancient Egypt, and this is called the National Mall. National Mall is a part that stretches from the Lincoln Memorial there to the DC, the Capitol Hill, and the Capitol, which is a Parliament of the United States. And it consists of three different kinds of white marble, and the process was repeatedly interrupted. Actually, it was not built continuously in one kind of a time piece, and and it stands at about 169 meters, and it's the third tallest. This kind of column or obelisk, it's the third highest tallest in the world as of this time. And it's like there's a Juche Tower in Pyongyang, North Korea. It's the second tallest, and then about 170 meters. And then there is one San Jacinto monument in Texas, which is about 173 meters. So this is the third tallest in the world as of now. Construction, so we began in this 1848, and then it was suspended from 1854 to kind of 1877 for 23 years approximately. And then because of various due to civil war, and the stone structure basically that we see in the external cladding was completed in 1884, and the memorial stone was completed in 1888. So, and this original design was by Robert Millis from South Carolina, but there was probably a proposal for a colonnade as well, and then the monument was dedicated on February 21, 1985, and it opened to the public on the October 9th, 1988. So, and then the monument was closed for repairs in a few times. And then what is this basically? It's an Egyptian style stone style obelisk, and 152.4 meters is the main outside column, and then there is a pyramidion on top. If you really closely observe, there is a pyramidion on top, which is like a pyramid, small pyramid. The walls taper as the right and supported by 6 arches. The top of the pyramidion is a large marble capstone. It's a capstone which completes the structure, and then. So 50 US flags fly on this on the side, and representing the 50 states of the US. And then if you really look at the monument, it's splendid and spectacular. As I was telling you, it's the third largest monument of this kind on Earth at this moment, with the first one at Houston and then the second one at Pyongyang, North Korea. And so it's mainly it's named after the groundbreaking took place in 1848, and it was built between 1848 to 1854 and 1877 to 1888. In between 23 years, the construction was interrupted because of various reasons, like civil war and so on. And It was topped out on December 6, 1884 and completed in 1888, and it was opening in October 9, 1888 and inaugurated on February 21, 1885, and it is renovated a few times. And the cost was, I think, around $1 million or something. And it's owned by the National Park Service. The height is like 555 feet, which is 169 meters to the top of the pyramid, small pyramid box. And then if you really look at the surroundings, right, it's so spectacular. And there's a lift and elevator, so it's this whole is based upon this ground, which is about 106 acres, and architect is Robert Millis, and developed the US States Army Corps of Engineers. If you really look at this, and then they had raised about donations for constructing this monument as early as 1836, and they announced a competition for the design of the memorial, and then there was various designs, right? Circular building, colonnade, facade, and so on, four-side obelisk, and all this stuff. And then a lot of history behind, this construction of the building. And then, originally it was intended to be an intersection at a north-south axis, and then to the east-west axis. So they are like. And the initial construction, the land preparation, and cornerstone was laid on July 14, 1848, and on the prepared bed. And then a lot of details on kind of the construction, and then donations have run out in 1854, and because they started collecting some donations for the construction of the monument, because this monument was erected in honor of George Washington, the kind of the founding father and the first United States president. And donations have run out. Then then the Civil War, and then between 1865 to 1861 to 1865, and then the post-Civil War and all this construction was started, and then it resumed. Actually, construction again resumed in 1879 under the direction of Lieutenant Colonel Thomas Lincoln Casey, and then. So these are a lot of details around construction and dedication. The monument was finally dedicated on February 21st, 1885. Over 800 people were present for the monument's grounds, and speeches by various people. And then after the speeches, and later history is actually, if you look into a bit of the technical details, right, on this monument, it was a world's tallest structure until Eiffel Tower in Paris was completed in 1889. So up to that period of time, it was the tallest in the world, and kind of the monument in the world. This monument is taller than the obelisks around the capitals of Europe and in Egypt and Ethiopia, but ordinary antique obelisk was quarried as a monolithic. They were like quarried as a single stone. Actually, if you really look at the obelisks at other part of the world, and single block of stone, and were therefore seldom taller than 30 meters or 100 feet. Because they were quarried from a single stone. But this is like built up, right? And then so there were various kind of, because such a long history, right? And then there were renovations actually, and then to this tower, and then 2000 to the present, there was a huge restoration again done in 1999, right? Because all these historic places needs huge restorations, because they stand for hundreds, and they often sometimes even thousands of years, right? They require really very huge maintenance, overhaul, and a lot of restoration work is really, because I was in London last year, and they had this restoration for the big men it lasted 4 or 5 years. So these are very difficult, because they go back to hundreds of years literally, right? And then the construction techniques, the technologies, the materials at the time would have been so different, right? The cracks develop, and they are like they are in these extreme temperatures of cold and sun, and alternating between extreme temperatures. So they really require a lot of maintenance actually, a lot of cracks, and then these days actually, and I was following the Big Ben restoration, they are actually preserving the details. They are having a digital twin or a digital copy of the restoration work that they carried out and what were the materials, how they did it, and so on, so that it will be easy for the future generation. So because the digital technology has now come in, so they are using this these kind of new techniques and technologies. So the restorations various restorations and various at various points of time, it requires, because it's a monument, and weathering the if you really look at the components, foundation, if you look at the foundation, right, so there is a huge foundation, and then the foundation has been reinforced. And so its foundation is really important, because any tall structure, it must stand for hundreds of years. Then it's really important. And then if you really see at the cornerstone, right? Cornerstone was laid, and then on July 4th, 1848, at the the memorial stones, the cornerstone, and then after coming to the specific inscribed stone, and then. The walls, bottom section was built. As I was telling you, this was built between varying periods of time. And probably there is a noticeable change in, or the kind of the colors in the kind of the stones and rocks as well. Because if you really look at, because they were built at various. I know of one, there's in Barcelona, there is called the Sagrada Familia, which is under construction for almost nearly a century. It was conceived by architect Gaudi, but because the different reasons kind of hindered the progress. And so these walls, and if you really look at Texas marble, Sheffield marble, and Corcus marble, so different kind of they use different kind of stones, and because it started construction and then it halted in the middle and so on. And if you really look at the monument, it's we go closer to the monument, and so because there is a long hiatus in the first phase and the last two phases, monument has a very complicated kind of a superstructure in a way. If you can, there is discernible, actually even I can notice that the change in colors of these stones and so on. There, if you go to the top, there is more kind of a yellowish tinge, if I'm right, yellowish orangish tinge kind of, rather than and then the pinnacle, Pyramidion is called the pinnacle. The details around Pyramidion is like atop the monument has a marble capstone. So atop the monument it has a marble capstone, and shaped like a truncated pyramid with a cubical keystone, and just get closer to the monument still, and the aluminum apex replaces the truncated top. The inside upper edges have topmost slabs on the four faces of the pyramid. The large, the keystone and occupies so much of its base that only a small horizontal area near its outside remains, or edge remains. Weight of the capstone is transferred to both the inner and outer portion of the ship lab. So you see the difference in colors, and then it's really very cold. So the capstone actually looks like this. If you really look at this, it looks various sections in the capstone, and so there are a lot of details surrounding this again. Aluminum apex, and then there are two windows on either side, so they're making up a total of 8 windows. You can really, from afar, it's and then the lightning protection, because such a tall monuments always require lightning protections. And the stairs and elevator, right? There is an elevator to go up. That's what the tickets need to be booked in advance, or on the morning of that day they open, or 3 o'clock after 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the tickets are open for the next day if you stand in stairs. So so there is a stairs, and of course the elevator as well. And then this is. And so it's like the weight is about 44 long tons and 49 short tons. So it's like we really go near this, and then And as I was telling you, the ground is approximately 100 acres or something. And then yeah, we just touched the monument to see how it really looks. Yeah, this is as close to the monument, touching it with the hand, and yeah. So this is about in brief about the Washington Monument. A great, this is iconic. Whenever they show DC, this is one of the most iconic things they show. That they show the White House and Lincoln Memorial or the Capitol or this obelisk, Washington Monument. It's like whenever they want to show things related to politics or related to DC or something, they will usually have this as a prime establishment shot of Washington DC. We see it from up close, and then we see the way to the elevator. Yeah, the small room near there. That's the way to the elevator. So this offers a spectacular view of the Washington DC, and there we see the Capitol. The Capitol is right in front of us. That's the Capitol. This is a place where erected in memory of the American national war hero and first American president George Washington, and it was completed in 1885, and it's an obelisk. They use 2 meters up, and then iconic as of today. It's probably the third highest of such kind. The first one being at Houston, and the spectacular. This place is called a National Mall, and then you have the US Capitol on that side of the mall. And obviously one of the most powerful places on earth, because the decisions may shape here impact and influence the whole world, not just America. So the iconic Washington Memorial. And then the tickets were unfortunately not available.